reminded me of my dog, Callie. She died when I was 8, and she crawled underneath the porch.
To die.
To be alone.
To die.
To be alone.
We're smoking reef.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you're cut off and I'm cut off.
That's all right.
Can we zoom out a little bit? So
Let's.
we just switch.
If you move towards me, I don't
Now
mind.
you're-
I don't mind being cut off.
Yeah, but it looks janky when we do that. Is there no way to like zoom out a little bit, or is that just that we just boned?
Do you want to just move the music stand back?
Is it? I mean, I can.
That's all there is to it.
Oh, good. How's school going?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. Kids are good. This is the first year I really feel like I'm pretty comfortable with the whole the whole deal.
I'm gonna move this.
You got to move the light first.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was. How about that?
Okay, now you need to tilt the camera down some. You gotta.
How about that?
Yeah, actually, I think that's pretty good. All right, let's check out folks in the chat. We got John, Will. How's it going, guys?
Hi, guys.
Walking cow. All right. Let's see. You're still cut off.
Yeah, I'll just screw this over a little bit. How's that?
That's better. All right. We're ready to rock and roll here. Get that out of the way.
How you feel? Feel good? You
Feel good.
Feel froggy, red rock and roll?
Yeah. Hey, Amaton. Hey, Henrik. All right, we're going to start the pre-show, so we'll check back in with the chat in a little bit.
The pre-show.
You ready to start the pre-show?
Yeah.
We're starting the pre-show. So, Aaron, before we get started, I brought a little something for you here.
Oh, yes.
This is Maker's Mark bourbon. Now, I've got to be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever bought bourbon before.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, see, Maker's Mark, sweet, barrel-aged Kentucky bourbon. Brownest of the brown. Maker's Mark always has their lovely melted wax bottles.
Mm-hmm.
State drink. This is amongst the most prized bourbons in Kentucky. It'll cost you, but you never go wrong with Maker's Mark. They have various age levels that will be denoted with different colors.
Really?
Yeah, I believe they have a blue label.
Kind of like Johnny Walker.
That's right. And I think Jack also does. And this is a perfect bourbon for me because it's not the most expensive.
Right.
But the quality is good. And so, don't get me wrong, I've drank much, much less expensive.
There were many options of lesser bourbons
right.
at the liquor store.
I have drank a lot of whiskey in my time, and I've drank a lot of cheap whiskey because I'm a cheap guy. And generally, I would default to, say, Seagram's 7, Granddad, I know a popular drink. But whenever I could, and of course I like Tennessee whiskey, but I'll take the Kentucky every day.
I always thought Seagram's was a gin. Are they a multi-liquor?
Seagram's 7 it's a whiskey.
Okay, and so when you said those 7 and 7,
I don't know.
That's
you know where I used to get it at was the Rite Aid in on the west side of Charleston. It was a hop, skip, and a duck a shot jump from where I used to live. But this was an excellent choice, especially since you've not had it.
Yeah.
Again, is it the best Kentucky bourbon you're going to get? No. But is it the most reasonable for the quality? Absolutely.
All right. So
not to go on tear.
As you can see here, this is a wax top. Actually, I don't know that this is real wax.
Of course. How dare you, sir?
I think it's not, but it does have a tab here. Maybe it is real, and it's just sort of plastic wax. And so I am in the process of.
This is a good way to start the pre-show. Get us in the mood.
Yeah. All right. Just testing it.
What'd you think?
I hope the bourbon's better. Right.
Yes.
All right. Just like a fine wine.
I'll have to admit it's been a while as I reach into the ether to grab this guy. Look. It's like that Twilight Zone where the kid disappears under the bed. It's the same exact thing.
All right.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Cheers.
Salud.
You know, there's it's interesting how how much different the taste is between this and Scotch. There really is a difference.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah.
Scotch, I'm telling you, you can get away with more in whiskey than you can in Scotch, in my opinion.
And by whiskey you mean bourbon, right?
Bourbon, excuse me. There are many degrees of bourbon that are tolerable to me. Now, this is just me. When it comes to Scotch, I can only drink stuff that is good. When you get into the crummier Scotch,
It's not happening.
That's just me. What's your experience?
Yeah. I haven't really had a lot of lower tier scotches. I guess, what would you consider to be a lower tier scotch?
Oh, jeez. My knowledge of Scotch is zero. I know what I like. When I go to the store, if I go to buy Scotch, which I've only done a few times, I just pay the bucks because I generally assume that the more money is going to get me.
Right. If it's in a plastic bottle, I normally don't buy it, and so
that's my rule with vodka.
But there's a sweetness to the bourbon.
That's the beautiful barrel aging that seeps in there as it's put away. It's good stuff, but it's got a kick.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
in Kentucky, they want their bourbon to have a nice bite, which I assume all bourbons and whiskeys do, but that one's a particularly bitey one.
Sure. This is actually a little bit stronger than my scotches. This is 45%. The scotches I have are mostly 40%. So.
That'll take care of your business, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I've got for next week. I've got another little surprise for you that I think.
Oh
you'll
boy,
enjoy.
that was an excellent surprise. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So what are you up to this weekend?
Oh boy,
Or this week?
this week, first of all, my court got canceled. I was so happy.
Have you ever successfully made it
One
to court
time,
yet?
but this one's been rescheduled for June. So, but they didn't tell me till the day before. So that meant I had to do all the prep work. That's why I didn't get an Amigos play this for me this week. Actually, I've got one in the can, but it was so boring I didn't post it. I did tennis. It was a Grand Tennis 2.
Ooh.
That
sounds like something that I'd like to see.
I like me some good tennis. The problem is, when I do these Amigo plays, and we all do them different. When I do one, I like to have something to talk about through the whole video as opposed to just me playing the game.
A little mystery to figure out.
Okay.
Let's give them
Yeah. But this one, aside from going into some tennis that I liked and my experiences on the tennis team, there wasn't a whole lot to go into, and so and also I would get frustrated because I was for whatever reason I had trouble with this one. It's not the one I thought it was going to be, but I went ahead and did it anyway, and it just didn't turn out that well. So it got maybe one of these days if I'm really desperate, I'll put it out there, but it got put in the can. And then I want to try another game. I mentioned this on our forum. Go to our forums, by the way.
Forums. That might not be the actual URL. Go to everythingamiga.com and then click on forums.
Yeah. I found a fighting game that I'd not heard of, and it was called Capital Punishment. And they say, the word on the street was it was a decent effort. And I tried to run it, and it won't run on my Amiga. I don't know why. And so I'm going to do that one as soon as I can figure out a way to run it and record it. And so if anyone out there, I mentioned on the forum, if anyone out there has ran this game, and I don't know if it requires special hardware. It was one of those late releases, like 96 or something, that may require. I've got the memory for it, but I don't. It just didn't. It just froze up.
Are you talking publicly about your new venture yet? Speaking of fighting games, or are we still keeping that under
it
wraps?
may not happen. So we'll wait on that. Let's. Speaking of which, I was at the. This segues perfectly into something I was going to ask you. At lunchtime today, I went to a local flea market we have in Greenup, near where I work, and a guy in there had it's the first time I've ever seen one in person. He had a master console converter for the Genesis that lets you play Master System games on it.
Right, the power-based
converter. Yep. That's it. And he wanted $30 for it, which that seems pretty reasonable. And it got me to thinking: did you guys ever do that?
The power-based converter?
No, the other thing. the Master System.
Oh, that has not officially been announced yet.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't say
So,
anything.
yeah.
Okay, because for some reason I thought there was already one out, and I missed it. And so I was like, well, are you interested in this thing at all for purposes of unknown?
I mean,
I almost bought it, but it'd be so stupid to buy it because
Yeah.
I've got 30 ways to play Master System,
Yeah.
including owning a Master System.
I think it's best left at the Greenup Flea Market.
They also had, you see the funniest things at these little flea markets. This is the Hillbilly Flea Market in Green, Kentucky. The world famous Hillbilly Flea Market. They also had a Jaguar controller.
Just loose.
Just a controller. I was like, you got any more Jag stuff? No. They wanted $15 for it.
Ooh.
But that's nothing. That's a good deal.
Really?
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
He also had...
Is the Jag controller, it's a proprietary, it's not a DB9,
No,
right? Yeah,
absolutely not. It's got a keypad on it. You remember
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have two of those, don't
Sure,
I?
I've seen them.
I mean,
Yeah.
we played with those. Funny is with 2 I don't think I need another one. But he also had a 3DO, and it was a Gold Star 3DO. Not like mine. This one had a drive that was motorized. It came out.
I think the Gold Star is the one.
It's not
that
the
is-
big black one that has the 4 corners that are rounded. It's the other one, which I've not seen that in person either.
Yeah, I think the Gold Star is the one that is the most likely to fail because of that motorized trick.
Well, I had him open it up and plug it in. Now, he told me, this is one of those things, when you're going out to shop, obviously, be careful. The dude told me, I was like, listen, does this thing work? He's like, absolutely. I was like, do you have any games for it? No. Does it come with a game? No. So how did he ever test it? Who knows?
Right.
Did he? Probably not. The Jaguar controller, does it work? Sure. Can we test it? No. Why? I don't have a Jag. Do you have any Jag stuff at all? No. Did you ever have one? Well, it's been a while. So there you go. So he also had a bunch of Famicom games, Super Famicom games, which was strange. And that flea market had a couple booths with a bunch of Super Famicom games. Unusual. But as usual in our quests, they had no Commodore Amiga games. They had no Commodore 64 games. They had no Atari computer stuff of any sort.
CGA era PC games?
They had nothing. So I walked away empty-handed.
Yeah.
He wanted a bucket a quarter for the 120 American US dollars for the Gold Star 3DO, which I looked on the net. That's close to what they're going for, except his was dirty.
Right.
And I mean,
I don't understand why these guys, these flea market guys, they want to charge you top dollar, but they put forth no effort.
It is quite amazing that they don't clean them up.
Right.
And I can tell you from my collection, they collect dirt, and they're not easy to clean. Now, Adam Korlick, I think is the fellow's name on YouTube, has an excellent channel, and he goes into a lot of cleaning of these systems, including the Master System. And there are guys out there that show you how to clean them up real nice. I'm a kind of a lazy guy, so I just sort of do like a half-ass job. But clean your shit up, clean your stuff up before you sell it.
Right.
Because that makes you look like a goof.
Yeah. If you want to get top dollar.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Well, a couple things. I had some family over last week.
I remember.
We were in a rush to record.
Didn't work.
Right. We ended up getting out at the same time. But that was fine. We ended up going to the Italian Grill.
Over in Putnam Village?
Yeah. Have you been there before?
Yes, I have.
I really enjoyed my time there. I ate some excellent food.
It's good. It'll cost you a few bucks.
Yep.
The Mexican place beside it's also quite good, which we go there often. Again, it'll cost you. So that's not bad.
So,
did you guys have a good time?
Yeah. But my sister was here. My two aunts. Speaking of which, my two aunts came over on Sunday, and one of my aunts, she's a big pinball fan.
Oh,
she remembers it from her youth. She's about my dad's age, so she's in her late 60s, and I'll show you a little bit of. There's my aunt trying her hand at Triple Action.
How did Triple Action perform that night?
It did well.
It wasn't finicky.
No. The machine it's a weird thing because sometimes it works great for days on end, and then other times it'll just stop. And I've learned to just leave it alone and come back in a week, and then it's fixed itself.
Give it a little kissy.
Yeah.
You've got room there. It's almost time to get the Pinball 2. That reminds me of something. A fellow near us in Buffalo, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from here.
This isn't Kraus, is it?
It is Kraus.
Okay.
is selling something that I want so bad it's killing me not to go instantly buy. Did you see this come up?
No.
You've got the marquee sitting over there for this game.
Oh, is it a Mr. Deuce Castle?
Mr. Deuce
Oh,
Castle.
you need that in your life.
He wants $300 for it, though.
Ooh.
That's a little steep
Little
for me.
steep.
Plus, the side art is ill-conceived. It's not. It's obviously it's a Tato cabinet that's been turned into a Mr. Deuce Castle.
I don't think that it was ever available as a. I think it's just a conversion kit.
You're probably right, but the conversion of this thing was poor. The sides of it still have the big, huge Tato stencils on it, and they just slapped the Mr. Deuce Castle sticker on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, Tato didn't produce Mr. Deuce Castle, number one. And number two, who does that? And so that makes me not want it as much. In fact, I think $300 is too much. I think $200 is more acceptable. And I think with that side art issue, I think $150 is more than acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, because at that point, you're basically just paying for the board.
He got no offers on it, and so I'm hoping to go in there with a low ball offer and maybe steal it. I don't need it. I've got nowhere to put it.
If you need some help, I'll be there.
Yeah, I need help on putting it somewhere.
If you wanna store it in my basement, I'd be glad to
you'd
put
love
it,
that,
yeah.
wouldn't you? The thing is, if they made a multi-do board, I'd be all over this thing.
Oh man, I didn't. What an idea. Because that original Mr. Dew and that those universal cabinets, they look so cool.
They do, and also those boards are all interchangeable, to the best of my knowledge. Because
Dew is
Castle,
the only one.
Run, they're all interchangeable.
Yeah, because the first one was the only one that was released as a standalone cab.
Right. I would, if it was a Mr. Dew and it was an original, I'd already bought it.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of the Castle.
I love the all the ladybugs and other. It's got some kind of freaky art on it, but I love the way that the cabinet looks. It's nice and deep.
If the Tato cabinet makes, and this would be more sad, not to bore people with coin op stuff, but with that Tato cabinet, what it looks like, it was probably like Frontline or one of those games that Tato put out. I think it's a green or gray tint, but what you could do with it would be the perfect cabinet to finagle into a Zookeeper, which is my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
However,
Zookeeper is a great
Zookeeper is a no easy get. So at that point, then you're emulating it, and then what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's my thing.
You just walk it right back.
So it's tough. It's tough for me to spend the amount of money on coin ops.
Yeah,
and coin ops have went up exponentially, more than pins in a lot of ways. People are just asking. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. People are asking an absorbent amount of money for. I'm not one to pay for a coin op. I'm not. They're big. I mean, it is ludicrous to own something that's not an art. It's tough. Yeah. I mean, if it's a disc of Tron or something, I got you.
Right.
This is
to me, it has to be something that has aesthetic beauty outside of the game, like the Mario Brothers. I love looking over there and looking at that Mario Brothers. I think it looks awesome. So to me, I'm justified with it.
You're right. Plus, as I recall, you got a pretty decent deal on that.
Yeah.
But my space prohibits me from buying a lot of stuff.
Like the Neo Geo cab, your old cab.
Yeah, that looked great.
It looks good. But if I'm just
going
to
talk about that later, by the way.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean, outside the show.
Okay.
It's time to move you up, sir.
But if I'm just going to put a generic cab, and the Double Dragon 2 was kind of this way, it's not my favorite game. It was a great way to get in the door with arcade machines.
Plus the deal was ridiculous.
But when I had a chance to unload that thing and make a little profit, and I did.
That was a real good spin for you. That was also, like I said, you got that deal. That game was a ridiculous game.
Yeah.
We'd have bought it if we had any sense. So what have you been playing this week?
Well, I kind of got burnt out a little bit. I played a lot of Elite last week.
The new one.
Yeah, remember I told you I was playing about 2 hours a day, and so I just kind of took the week off from gaming. And aside from playing our game, I read a lot. I read some Dostoevsky. Are you familiar with the Brothers Karamazov?
I'm not.
Okay. Are you familiar with Crime and Punishment?
Yeah, I know of it.
Okay. So he's a Russian author, 1800s. I'm working my way through. This is an incredibly long novel. All of his books are, Bible sized. Read.
He didn't do War and Peace, did he?
No, that was Tolstoy. Okay. But they're both Russian authors. I know that one's
ludicrously thick.
And I got caught up on I read several political magazines. The New Yorker, they're sort of on the left, and First Things is more on the right. So got caught up with those. I read a British literary journal called Slightly Foxed Quarterly. I got a lot of reading in, and it's good. It's good to sometimes I just have to step away from the games, and then eventually I'll get tired of reading, and I'll be like, man, I want to play some Amiga and go back to it. You know how it is. I'm sure you go through spells where you read a lot.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time. I don't have the time to read. I mean, I read stuff, but not like like a book. I'll flip to a magazine or something.
So what's different, and I don't mean this in an attacking way, but when you sit down to play an Amiga game for 45 minutes, do you just have to sort of get in a reading mode? Does it take you some time?
No, it's much easier than that. My son will be more than happy to watch me or play with me on a game.
Yeah, okay. That makes
My
all the
son
sense
won't
in the
just
world.
sit there while I read something.
Yeah,
He'll be like, I'm going to come and kill you now.
He's not entertained by that.
No.
Right.
And really, the Amiga plays stuff that I do. It's always after they're in bed. And when I'm playing the game, I literally have to say, listen, I've got to go play some game right now for our show. And they've been pretty understanding. Well, Luke's not. He doesn't care. He'll come in there and beat me until I play with him. So often I have to set aside time.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's a thing. And so, and then often it's not like I'm busy shoveling ditches. Sometimes I'm doing good stuff, and sometimes I'm doing dad stuff, and sometimes I'm doing boyfriend stuff. But it's tough for me. And I was at one point I was a voracious reader, especially in my younger days. Now I'm just like a lot of people. The only reading time I get in essence is when I'm on the can, or for a few minutes at work. I might have something at lunch. I might read, but just look how long it took me to watch the Amiga movie.
Right.
It took forever, and it's because it's hard, and it's hard to tell the girlfriend, hey, why don't you sit down with me and watch this documentary on the Amiga? It ain't gonna fly. I don't even ask her. Because who wants to? I'm sure Eep wouldn't want to watch that either.
Well, her move is like she'll watch anything, but by watch she'll just get out her phone and just go to town, which is fine.
I have such limited time with my girl that it's I try to give as much of it to her as I can. After the kid's in bed, and we pretty much try to do what she wants. So of course, I often just take over, but it's just it's busy and getting ready to get busy. Baseball season's starting back up, so you know how it is. But we did get some playing in this week.
That's good.
Luke is still obsessed with. We play every night now. We play San Francisco Rush 2049, and he beats the crap out of me at that game every single night. He's an ace. So I'm trying to wean him off on a few other things and try his luck on that. So we've pulled out the Genesis and played a couple games on there to try to see if he gets into those. I've tried to introduce him in some sports games with baseball coming up. I showed him Neo Turf Masters. We played, but he likes the games he's good at because he likes to kick the crap out of me. That's this thing, and he likes fighting games. We will play, like I said, and they have to be good. It has to have good looking women in it. That's what he likes. My 7-year-old. So we play Soul Calibur, and we'll play. We don't play Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, but we'll play the goofier stuff,
right?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game and stuff, but. That's pretty much the gaming I do now. That's until they go to bed. Like I said, I snuck in Pirates. Every time I played it the last two or 3 weeks, I had to sneak it in, but I got enough in.
I was tempted. Jamie just got an Oculus.
That's right. I heard you bought Brent's.
Yeah, and I was really kicking myself for not jumping on that thing right away. But then I realized that you're not just buying the headset. If I would have bought that from Brent for $350, I can't run that with my video card. So I would have had to, spend big bucks on a video card, and then I'd have to buy the touch controllers too. And so
yeah, I mean it's just like buying a console, like a Switch or a Xbox One. I mean, when you've got it, you've got something, but you don't have everything you need.
Right.
I mean, he offered it to me. I don't have the money to pay that much. I just don't have the cash. But even if I did, I wouldn't buy it. I would go out and buy me. I'm dying. You're gonna think I'm a complete idiot. I've been licking my chops looking for a CD TV. I don't know why I want one. It makes no sense to have one. But man, they're sexy looking, and I've been looking like a maniac. And you just cannot get these things, and they cost a ton of money. These things, and I've been looking at a lot of Amiga hardware. I don't have any money to buy any of this stuff, but I can sell some stuff. And I can raise some money and to pick it up. So I've been looking at some of the different accelerators. I've been looking at a lot of Amiga stuff I'm hoping before summer's here to get a couple goodies. Man, I would love to have the expansion for the CD32 as well. Of course, mine's jacked up. I have to go back in there and fool with it, but I've been doing a lot of Amiga stuff this week. I've been this is gonna sound stupid.
We want to save this for the show.
Yeah, but I've been playing along. I've been playing along with the desktop a lot, which isn't sexy. Just trying to, I'm trying to reacquaint myself with all the little nooks and crannies.
Yeah, that can be kind of fun.
And when they released that Amiga kit that you could put on the Amiga, it got me to think. I was like, man, I'm looking at some of the newer Amiga stuff. At some point I'm going to dip my toe in the pool in that because there's a lot of cool junk out there.
Awesome stuff, for sure.
It's definitely something that's on my radar. So we'll see.
I guess the last thing I want to talk about is now I can't remember. You're a warm weather guy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
This past week when we had that one day of awesome weather, I'm really looking forward to summer. I just can't wait. I want to get out there with my drone, fly it a lot.
I heard you flew it once. It didn't go so well.
So I don't know if we talked about this.
I'm
sure we talked. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. I purchased a drone, and I didn't just get the starter drone. I got the big dog, the DJI Phantom. Now I didn't get the Phantom 4. I got the Phantom 3, which is one generation previous. But it does have a really nice camera. I'm hoping to work my real estate angle with it.
Tax write-off.
Yeah. And so immediately, I spent the week before watching YouTube videos and stuff, all the tutorials.
And stuff.
As soon as I got it, I ripped the box open. I forgot everything. I set it on the ground. I put the battery in. I'm like, watch out, Eep. Here we go. So it takes off, and it immediately starts. I launch it off my back porch, which is about 4 feet wide.
And your backyard's got a bunch of trees in it.
So it's the worst.
It's a downhill slant.
Yeah, the worst possible place you could launch it from. So I set it on the deck, and I'm like, okay, this thing should hover. I'm just going to straight up over the house and out. So it goes straight up about 3 feet, and then it starts to drift to the right at a rapid pace, right towards Eep. So Eep immediately goes inside, closes the glass door. I'm alone on the deck with the drone. Okay, so I'm like, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to push the lever to make it go this way. I hadn't calibrated it yet, so I didn't know what to do. You're supposed to turn it around so it gets its bearings and stuff. So I push to the right. It slams into the side of the house, turns over, and is spinning. All the propellers are spinning. And this thing is it's like a weed eater. I mean, it's got an engine on it. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm a little scared to get near it. And so I'm like, okay, how do I turn it off? And I'm futzing with the app that's on top on my phone. There's no way to kill the engines. And so I have to gingerly reach over, pick it up, turn it over, and then push the off button.
There's got to be some way to turn the engines off.
So I figured out later that there is a way. There's a combination of joystick movements that you can do that'll kill the engines. But of course, I didn't know that.
So this thing runs with your app as well, your phone app?
Sure. What it does is you got the controller, and then above the controller is a clamp. You put your smartphone in the clamp. That way you can see what the camera sees. And it's got GPS. Once it's up in the air, if you just hit come back to me, it will come back to you. So it's got a lot of cool stuff. I was very lucky that I did not destroy it totally. I wrecked the propellers, but it came with an extra set.
And let me ask you, where were you planning on landing it?
Well, I was hoping it would just come back to the deck,
Wow.
And,
you are a very hopeful man.
Yeah. So I just got excited, and
that's neat, though. I know those things are cool.
I look forward to taking out to the park, wide open space, and
that's probably a good move.
There's going to be a new city park over by the middle school across the street from there. Have you driven by there to see?
I know of it. I think it's sort of stupid, to be honest with you. But I'm sure the city has its reasons, because I know one of the other parks is a county park, and which is, I don't know how well they get along, and then the other city park is just fine, but it's getting up there.
Well, yeah, and the other city park isn't really much of a park in terms of a lot of greenery. It's a bunch of sports fields and the splash park. If you want to, walk around fields and things like that.
To be fair, this isn't going to be that big of a. It's not that big a park either, is it? Is it bigger than I think it is?
I think that it's going to be when they're finished, when they're done clearing all the land. And I think that the plan for this one is to make it more of a nature place rather than more like the Valley Park, less like the city park. So.
Well, hey, you can't have too many parks.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Yeah.
Except when you're paying for them.
All right, I told you it was the last thing. This is not the last thing. The last thing, Eep and I have been watching these, we got so burnt out on House Hunters. We watched House Hunters for years and years. But there's a British version of the show called, UK country getaway or something like that. You would not believe how expensive it is to own a house in England.
I would probably believe it on the basis of where it's at. If it's somewhere in a city, especially.
This is nowhere in the city. This is out in the country.
Yeah.
This falling down village with these homes. Now, I guess the homes are old. They're all built in like the 1700s. But this thing, like this total fixer-upper dump with small rooms, £400,000.
That doesn't surprise me, and I'll tell you why. You're in a smaller area. There's less real estate. A lot of people, and now stop me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure the viewers/listeners would say something, but a lot of people in the UK rent, right? And owning a house is a much different affair.
Right.
So it's more of a
rich man's
privilege
game.
than it is here, given our, which it's getting there.
Right.
But in this state it's not. If anything, there's not going to be anyone here at all the way they're going with the tax hikes and what they're talking about. But so I'm not surprised. I think it would be neat to own a house from 1700s from a romantic standpoint, but owning one from a money standpoint would be the worst thing ever.
Right. I mean, if you just think about the plumbing.
Yeah, my house is from like the 60s, and I'm like, oh, jeez. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So this is Wiltshire.
What's it called again?
It's called It's called maybe like British Country Escapes or something like that. But it's on Netflix.
Cool.
I watched another one. There's another one called Grand Designs, where it's these people in the UK building, like, they go to like a really depressed old steel mill town. Like if somebody went to Thurman and decided to build like a really like modern house, but keep like some of the old like facade or whatever. It's
that would never happen.
No one will ever do that in Thurman.
I watched the Great British Baking Challenge.
That's a good show too.
We've watched 3 or 4 seasons of that, including the most recent one. We don't watch those on Netflix. And then I've watched a show from the UK. This is a years old show where these two people that live in 2 different apartments swap. They give each other a chance to design the other person's room. One room. I can't remember. Is it called Trading Spaces? Maybe.
I think they made an American version.
They did.
Called Trading
They
Spaces.
did, which is much crummier.
Yeah. Well.
And that was always a show I enjoy, especially when someone really botched the job.
Like, I hate this.
And I've watched something here recently. It's like the car boot challenge, something like that, where they go to these sales. Yeah, those are fun. I'm a sucker for those. And there's a guy on the YouTube that does a thing where he, if anyone listens to or watches the Lazy Game Review guy, he goes around and goes to different Goodwills looking for stuff. There's a UK guy that's doing that too, and it's neat to see the difference in those shops. And stuff.
That is neat.
That's kind of fun. Of course, again, you have to familiarize yourself with a lot of things that are different, and the fact that the money's different. But again, the money's not so different right now, so it's a lot easier to figure out what the hell they're paying.
Yeah. All right.
We're old. That's what we watch.
It's good. It's good to watch before bed. You want something relaxing. So you ready to end the pre-show?
Yeah.
All right,
man. Let's do it.
So we will end. Actually, I don't even know what I'm doing over here. Let's just check in with the chat real quick. See if anybody has anything.
We got a lot of news this week too.
I thought I had. Did I close? All right. Let's just go back a little bit. Hey, Jason. Hey, Eric. And Jeff. I think I already said hi to you, Amaton TV. That's a cool Amiga logo you got there.
That Amaton TV, I keep seeing that pop up, but I've not watched any of those. If you're there, Amaton TV, give us a scoop.
Yeah,
because I love TV, and I saw you or your channel had just put something up, and I'm down with the clown on that. So give us the scoop if you're actually there. I saw, amongst other things, are we still taping the pre-show? Oh, we are.
Well, I mean, we're
what are we doing here? That's just, why would you want to hear this part? This is where I just badmouth you for how crappy job you done the pre-show. Damn it, Bo, take this more seriously.
This is what I've started to do is just put the whole stream, the soup to nuts stream, up as the pre-show.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. all that stuff you said about Brent last week, that was all on the show.
Oh, dang, he knows how I feel. Damn, he knows what he is.
Let's see. Let's get our. The Plus
Well, since
page
we're
up
just-
here.
We've got a lot of news this week, actually.
Oh, great.
I don't know if you-
We don't have a lot of site updates, so that's good.
What happened this week? It was there was a couple. That's not true.
We had Dreamcatcher put up a review. That was it.
Yeah, I hold myself responsible for some of that because like I said, that court thing really tied me up.
Yeah.
I was doing stupid study stuff and.
Hey, Pishbot. All right.
I've got a lot of background stuff on this one,
I'm going to let you take all the time you want.
and then we'll get into the gameplay, such as it is.
Okay. We do have some feedback.
Oh, good.
So
You have any news you want to throw out there? We'll
no,
do a site update.
I got no news. So we'll do event. Do you have any events coming up?
No.
Okay. So we'll do news and then site updates.
I didn't mean to step on your master thing. I thought that honestly,
Oh,
I talked to Hatch and he acted like you guys already launched one. I was like, damn, I missed out.
No, we haven't done it yet. I'm still waiting on folds to
Okay.
get it going. So
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff on Pirates that we'll go through. A lot of background stuff here.
I'm still thinking about buying a new camera. I'm not happy with our video. I was looking at a Canon G10.
There ain't no camera gonna make us look better, but this is it, buddy.
I feel like
The camera's not a problem. What's the problem? It looks good to me.
it doesn't look like professional stuff. Like you look at Twit,
Yeah, but I mean, come
like
on.
Leo Laporte and
Wait a
all
minute,
those
how can
guys.
you didn't want to adjust the thing with the curtain?
You've got a good point there. I do need to buy, before I buy a $600 camera, I should probably buy another blackout curtain. It's like $8 at Walmart. So
You're all over the map here, Bo. I thought you almost bought a freaking Mac. What happened to that?
oh yeah, I lost interest. That's my life. You know what I'm thinking about doing?
I have no idea. Really don't.
Maybe over the summer. See
Uh-huh.
all those Activision games?
Oh,
I'm
yes.
just going to do one at a time. And just open it up, see what's in the box, video, all that stuff, and then do a little playthrough. Just a little something.
Well, that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
What were you?
I was gonna see all those activities. Yeah, you're just gonna sell
Sell them
every one
all.
of them. What?
I wish I hadn't sold all the games that are in those boxes, but they're just
I can't.
boxes.
You mean those games? The boxes don't have any games in them? Don't. What the heck were you thinking?
When I went to Korea, I thought I had enough sense not to sell the boxes, but
The games can be gotten.
yeah. The
Some
games
of
are
them.
much cheaper than the boxes.
Well, I've been looking for Gumshoe and I can't find it anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, I looked today.
So you're on that light gun kick, right?
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
And that gun works. That's the way I look at it. If it works, I want it. Man. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it.
So, chat, we are going to start the show. Let's see, make sure I've got that.
Why don't you give me one more little nip of booze?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little nip. I'll sip this. That's I
Mm-hmm.
guzzled the first nip. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's good.
I like the size of a bottle.
It's too small.
I can buy several
That's too small.
different kinds.
That wouldn't do it for me. I'd knock that out in a couple days. That's why I don't drink no more.
Do you have any of that? What's on top of your fridge right now?
Oh, jeez. Not that no on my pantry. There's all kinds of booze up there. I never go. Who gotta drink? Well, I don't ever drink.
Yeah.
Here, I drink more here than I do at home. Times a million.
Well, when Mania comes around, yeah,
I'll get a ride home.
Yeah. All right. So you ready?
I was born ready.
All right, here we go. It's a couple seconds. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Amigos. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to talk about Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yes. No, it's Pirates!
Pirates!
Big exclamation point
Yeah.
on the end.
There are not too many games with an exclamation point at the end. Can you think of any more?
There's a pinball machine that's got one. What's it called?
Judge Dredd?
No, it's a Hollywood. It's an old-timey Hollywood. Lights, camera, action!
Oh, okay.
That's got one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's not too many.
That was good, though. I put you on the spot. You answered right away.
And I could be wrong. No one knows.
Yeah.
Don't look.
But before we get into Pirates, we're going to do some feedback. We got a couple messages this week.
Is this good feedback?
It's
or is
good
it
feedback.
Okay, good.
So the first feedback comes in from Alan Kebab, new Patreon subscriber.
What's in an Allen kebab?
Well,
You get your onions, your lettuce. You put lettuce on a kebab? You don't, do you? That melts.
sometimes, I mean, kebab in England is different than kebab here. Like,
Oh,
kebab
yeah?
in England is the thing that you said looked disgusting, which baffled me.
Is Allen English?
I don't know. I know very little about our friend Alan.
So you're saying that thing in the picture you put on the thing was a kebab?
That's a kebab. That's what they
Where's
call a
the
kebab.
stick, yo?
So again, what they call a kebab in England is not what we call a kebab here.
Okay, what do we call what that was?
So I don't know. I call it a kebab.
Right,
But what it is I guess we call it like shawarma. Are you familiar with that term?
I'm not.
Okay. You know, in England, they basically just have meat on big spits. And they carve the meat off, onto a plate. They put some cheese. They put some, a little bit of lettuce. And then the best thing is they've just got these huge things of sauce, and you just cover it with the sauce.
Uh-huh.
And then you eat it. Oh, there's always a side of chips, which, fries.
Uh-huh.
And
that's what that was.
That's what that was.
What was that green stuff in the middle?
That was the lettuce.
See, that didn't look that good. Maybe it was just the way the picture was shot. Because everything you said sounds good to me. Big wad of meat, weird sauce, some fries. I'm down with the clown. Mm-hmm. Then there was this other stuff.
It might have been. It actually might have been cheese, like melted, like shaved off cheese.
Green? What did they get on the moon?
I don't know. It might have been the I have no idea. But anyway, thank you, Alan. He says, thanks for all your hard work and keeping the podcast going. It's really made my commute to work so much more enjoyable.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Anything that can make going to work better, I'm all for it.
Me too. We also got a message saying, hello from Seattle.
Whoa. Yeah. In America?
In America.
Sweet lordy.
I've been listening to your podcast since the 2016 Christmas special and finally got around to becoming a Patreon subscriber. You guys are awesome, and I look forward to the podcast every week. Anyway, just wanted to say hi and thanks for keeping the Amiga dream alive. No need to read my name. I'm not in it for the fame. Just wanted to support you guys so you can keep doing what you're doing.
He doesn't want you singing his name, is what he means.
That may be true.
A wise decision from Seattle.
So thank you, Anonymous, and we appreciate your patronage.
Cool, and it's good to see another
American.
Yank in the joint.
Will Williams has got company.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, what news is going on in the Amiga world this week?
All sorts of news. Actually, it was a pretty newsworthy week for once. There was a lot actually that went down. I guess let's just start at the beginning. Our good and dear friend, Mr. Pleasance, whom was just a guest on our show a few weeks back, has kicked off the Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter's killing it, if you will. In fact, it's, as I'm looking at it right now, it is funded.
Yeah.
Which, no surprise there, because when we did the interview, and I mentioned this last week, I was nervous as hell because this guy, he's like the keeper of the knowledge.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. Real nice cat. Real down-to-earth guy. And brother, he knows what he's talking about. And when he says, I'm going to write a tell-all book that gives the full scoop on Commodore, you can damn sure know that he's going to put out a hell of a book. And I can't wait to give this thing a read.
Yeah.
I'm throwing down on the Kickstarter myself. And gosh, I wish him all the luck in the world. I know you recorded something for him, and he was a real nice guy, real good guest, and we appreciate it. And we wish him all the best. And like I said, this thing's already funded.
I'm on a video with Alistair Brimble.
Oh yeah,
we're kind of collaborators.
Oh, so is this the testimonial? Yeah, congratulations on that. And here's the thing: a guy like Mr. Pleasance does not have to come on the Amigos. I mean, he's been on every real talk show, every podcast. I mean, this guy does the circuit. But it was nice of him to agree to come on, especially so close to the Kickstarter, and just talk to a couple dumb Americans about Amiga stuff. Yeah, I mean, look at these luminaries.
I'm probably not. I have not actually watched this. Yeah. They probably cut me from this video.
I'm looking at who's on this, and it would be absurd. But anyway, if you're interested in going to this. We'll link this up. It's already linked up, actually, if you want to go and throw down on the Kickstarter.
We will be purchasing a copy of this book for the show, for our perusal, and we will be giving it away.
Yes, absolutely. We got to get one. Yeah. So, and again, this is going to be, I haven't looked forward to a book like this for a long time. Mm-hmm. This is going to be something that's, especially the way he was talking. He talked to us off camera, and I mean, there was certain topics he didn't want to touch on in the interview, and because he's saving a big juicy secret to the book, and I don't blame him, frankly.
Right.
But like I said, I had no doubt when he put this thing up it was going to go to the roof, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doubles what he's asking. It wouldn't surprise me a bit because people, But so if you're into that, if you're into the history or what went wrong, have a look. Another bit of awesome news. This is a great week. All right, the people we love. The people that make our lives so much easier, the company, are back in action. they had 2 releases this week. They put out a trained exe file for Twin World Land of Vision, which is a game that, again, if you're not familiar with the company, these guys or guy, like I said, I'd love to talk to anyone involved with that outfit. But these guys put out, they basically have a pre-rolled Amiga game. It's an exe file. You just download it to your Windows PC and you play it. Bam. It comes with the trainer. It's got all the settings and it's set already. It runs great, and they're great. And hopefully this means you're going to go back and update a lot of those ones that no longer run on Windows.
Yeah.
Anything with 2.5, if you go to their website, which I've got it linked up, they've got a ton of stuff up there, but a lot of it doesn't work anymore on anything beyond Windows 7, thanks to our good buddies at Microsoft for removing some functionality there. And so they were slowly patching the stuff that was 2.5 to make it 2.6, which will work. So if you go on that site and you will see anything that you want to play that's 2.5, unless you're running Windows 7 or back, you're going to have a problem. I've not found no way to run them, and I've tried. So from everything I've read, no one can run them. So, but anyway, this is great news because the company stopped putting out stuff a while. I think it was like last year. It's been early in our run.
They took the whole site down for a while.
Yeah, and then they put it back up without any. They pretty much put a message out that for due to personal reasons they were ending. But
we're glad they're back.
Absolutely, and like I said, it makes. I mean, I can always say, for us, it makes our job easier. Like I said, I've got kind of a gamey Amiga that certain things won't run on. So it makes it a lot easier when I don't have to go and mess around with the emulator. I can just run one file and it works. It's great. Right. I know for you, of course, your situation's changed, but still it's a lot easier. They also released this week a game it's a 1994 game called Universe from Core Design, which I've not heard of or seen, to be honest with you. But hey, I'm down. Like I said, if they're going to start cranking it up again, that's great. I'm looking forward to that big time. So welcome back to those guys. Another great thing for the community. The folks over there that put together these fine CD32 compilation discs have done it again with a compilation of magnetic fields works. It's a complete compilation, including, gosh, look at what's on here, Bo. As you look at this thing, you've got Crystal Dragon, Ducks, Kid Chaos, the Lotus Trilogy. Enough said, right? MF Tanks, POD, Supercars 1 and 2, Super Scramble Simulator, and Wrangler. So we have played about, 3 of those, Bo?
I think so.
And there's a couple there that I'm looking at my chops to get a hold of.
Me too.
Hey, you cannot beat it. I don't know if it's Amiga J behind this, but I'm not sure.
I didn't see his name on it.
I didn't see a name attached to it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Yeah, he's usually all up in it. Something else I want to touch on. This isn't really news. It's news to me. A magazine called C64 Commodore Free. I don't think we've ever talked about this before.
No.
It's a free magazine online. The neat thing about this, I thought this was great actually. It comes in a PDF or an ebook for an ebook reader, or you can get a C64 disc image of the magazine, that's tremendous.
That's very cool.
And they actually mention us on there.
Oh wow!
Which is that's not how I found it. Actually, I was darn surprised. I was like, oh look, and it was so that's nice. But man, this content on this thing is tremendous. I mean, I got to give my hats off to the fella putting this together. It's really good. I mean, it's a great magazine. We're very fortunate to have a lot of good quality free magazines up. Of course, we've got the Amigos magazine, which I love, and this one's not Amiga. Our Amigos magazine is Amiga only, pretty much. This one, it covers all the Commodore stuff, but they have an Amiga section, and but I know a lot of Amiga users are old C64 guys too. So this is a nice magazine if you want to get a big scoop of nostalgia. They do a lot of interesting stuff. So Alex said, I know this one's been out for quite a while, but I've never seen it before. So
look at this. Have you seen this thing before?
I have. I saw that ad. So what he's looking at, y'all, is a TV. It's a TV adapter or a thing to play multiple classics. That was just like basically, like, it's probably like a Raspberry
those-
Pi or something stuck in there. Who knows what they've got there. It's a little gizmo to play C64 games on your TV. Another one. I think this may have came out right at the cutoff last week, but I was late to the party. And this is from a site that I've been looking at. It's funny. It's called Generation Amiga. Have you ever been on Generation Amiga before?
No.
It's a site that I can't access in some places. It's weird.
It's on the banned list.
No, it just doesn't. No, it just doesn't come up. I don't know why, but and it doesn't always come up for me anyway. But it comes up at home. Anyway, there's a new game that's been ported over from the ST. It's not a new game. It's new to Amiga. It's called Arctic Moves. Have you ever heard of this game?
No.
It looks awesome. I'm going to get me some of that. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun to give this a shot. So I've not seen it before, and
Looks kind of like Rolling Thunder.
which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
This was released in 1995, and then it was released again in 2001 on the Atari ST. So kind of neat. So that pretty much does it with news this week. It was a good week. A lot of good stuff came out. It's good to see the churn starting again. We're getting a lot of action, and with the company doing their thing, that's always nice. And the CD32 stuff, you can't ever get enough of that. So
Right.
and the book as well. So it should be. I'd say it's going to be a pretty interesting spring.
Cool.
What do you got for site updates?
Well, we have one lonely site update this week. It's been kind of quiet on the everythingamiga.com front, but our
It's a good one.
intrepid beat reporter Dreamcatcher has put out a review of the Defenders of the Earth game, the DOE, as I believe that they're known now. Aaron, you are one of the if not the country, at least the state's leading authorities on comic books.
Oh yeah, I hope Chad doesn't hear you say that because he would destroy me. I'm not even the Amigos leader on comic knowledge. That's easily him.
So tell us a little bit about Defenders of the Earth.
I don't know anything about it. I never heard of him until I read this.
Are you serious?
It's Star Comics, man.
I
It's
even
a
know
Marvel
him.
subsidiary.
That's Phantom. He's in the papers.
Well, here's the thing. I'd never heard of this outfit. And I had never heard of this game. And I saw that title screen. I'm like, holy crap, that looks awesome. And the box looks awesome. I gotta give me some of this. So this game's on my short list for an Amigos play. So actually, I think I made a comment about it. As usual, DK got in there deep and looked over the different versions, explained the origins of it, which were crazy, wacky. Mm-hmm. You know, it looks like a pretty neat game. Apparently, it's not that great, but it looks pretty cool.
It does look cool.
You know, and so I read that article and I was like, man, where's this thing? It's amazing. Having been in the Amiga biz for the last couple of years, hardcore, and then, back in my younger days, I was into it, and it's amazing how much stuff slips past me. Mm-hmm. Which, much like today's game, I had not played this until this review.
Wow,
I'd never, it's one of those games I'd heard about. I'm like, man, I don't get it, I don't. But it wasn't what I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. So, but this game's another one I hadn't even heard of it.
Well, let's talk about it. It's time. Sid Meier's Pirates.
So, this is an interesting game. Now, before we get too far into this, I played the original version. I didn't play the CD32 version, which was Pirates Gold, because I want to get a feel for the original. Mm-hmm. I did have a look at the other ones, which I'll get into that a little bit later. Did you play the original as well?
Yeah, I played the original.
So, this came out on the Amiga in 1990 on 2 discs. It was developed by Microprose Software Labs. And of course, these guys were pretty good. Mm-hmm. They did Civilization, which we covered. They did Gunship 2000. They did a Covert Action, which is sort of the spy equivalent of Pirates. F-19, a Railroad Tycoon, Secret Service, Red Storm Rising. All these are pretty quality games. I've touched I've had a cup of coffee with most of them over the years. The Amiga port of this, before it came out originally on the C64, was handled by Steve Borer, and this was a Sid Meier joint, as you mentioned.
Can you think who? So we got David Crane. He puts his name on his games. Anybody else? Any other developers that right off the top of your head?
Kitching's Pinball, was it who did Pinball Construction?
That was Bill Budge.
Kitching did one.
Paul Kitching?
What was his?
Our
Not
our graphic
ours, the
designer.
other one.
But not the other one either.
There's so many. It's hard to keep track. Here's a funny story about that I read. Again, Digital Antiquarian is a great site, and they did a little blurb on this that I read. This game, when it was, just to get a little back history of this. So, when this game was pitched, it was originally pitched with the thought in mind that it was going to be a simulated battle between boats. And it was going to be something along the lines of one of those old school Avalon Hill
strategy games.
Games where it was real with charts and
strategic.
Yeah, right. And that's how they pitched it. And if you've ever played anything from the old Avalon Hill board game series, they're pretty deep, time-consuming, laborious games.
Right.
I had a cup of coffee with Avalon Hill. Of course,
I've got one of them you got me for something a couple of years ago right over there.
Yeah, right. And Avalon Hill games are very prized because they birthed a lot of what is now video game simulation.
Right.
So Sid Meier's had an idea for a game in mind of his pirate game along those lines. He visited the Caribbean and did a little research and stuff. But basically, when this was originally pitched, it was pitched as, like I said, a simulation. And so Sid Meier's had also communicated with a fellow that worked for Microprose Labs that had learned how to basically render on-screen menus quickly on the C64. I don't know all the programming gymnastics behind it, but it was apparently quite a coup. And it could throw quick graphics and windows on the screen. And so Sid Meier's thought, well, this sounds like it'd be right up my alley. We can use this technology you've come up with. We're going to make this game Pirates. And so when he originally made it, the people at Microprose were like, the guy running it was like, wait a minute here. This isn't our kind of game. We do simulators. We do your F-19s.
Mm-hmm.
We do your gunships.
Mm-hmm.
That was our bag.
Our Microprose wrestling.
Right. No. That's boy. So he was like, how am I going to pitch this? So anyway, they made the game. I'll skip ahead to answer your question about the name. So there's an anecdote in the story where the guy that ran Microprose was at dinner, he was at an awards event with Robin Williams of all people, and they're at a table, and they were discussing how weird it was that rock stars were famous and authors were famous and movie stars were famous, and athletes were famous, why weren't video game designers famous? And the guy's like, and he put that in his back pocket. So when it was time to pitch this game, they're like, listen, Sid Meier's has a good rep. Let's put his name on this and push this guy like a maniac, And so this is the first game that has Sid Meier's name on it of all the games he ended up doing, which was so many good games. And to put this to the test, and this is also in the story, he says he was at a dinner with Sid Meier, and he said, listen, this is how publicity works. And he walked up to the waiter and he said, listen, I don't want my client Sid Meier doesn't want to be disturbed during this dinner. And the waiter's like, who's Sid Meier? And he's like, that guy. He's a famous author. He's like, we don't want any disturbances while we're eating. And they said by the time they left the restaurant, he had 20 people he'd given autographs to. Now, no one knew who this guy was.
That's. And
then to further give this as an example, my buddy at work, I was talking to him. I told him this story, and I was like, have you ever heard the name Sid Meier's? And he goes, Sid Meier's? Yeah, he's a game developer. I was like, can you name any of his games? He goes, no, but I know the name.
That's all you need to know.
I thought to myself, how bizarre.
Yeah.
Why would you even know that?
Yeah.
Well, he probably heard Sid Meier's Railroad Tycoon or Sid Meier's Civilization or blah, 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 blah. So it worked. It worked. And so that's the way they pitched the game. They basically pitched on the basis of his ability to have a good rep, and then they just made up the rest effectively. So anyway, the way the game developed was, again, they did a lot of research, as they always do, even when they do these simulation games, and they wanted to make it a game that captured the era of pirates and whatnot. Actually, they shot a little bit earlier than your main event pirates, your Blackbeards, and stuff. But Sid wasn't shooting for a historical game. What he wanted was the stuff he'd seen on TV. Errol Flynn.
Right.
He wanted cutlasses and ship to ship cannons and all that jive.
Swinging on ropes.
Yeah, exactly. And so, which you don't do, but I guess it sort of do it in your mentally. Don't
in my mind, I swing on ropes.
So they got down, and really, he only had about 2 people on the project. And this was originally it was developed on the C64, okay, which probably a pretty good coup for the 64 because they had pride. Apparently, Sid Meier's this is also kind of interesting. His weapon of choice was the Atari computers, and Microprose is like, listen, these things they're too old.
Right.
You've got to move on. And they pried him off the C64 and said, or pried him off the Atari and stuck him on a Commodore. And he got into Commodore, and started cranking them out. So he only had a couple people working on it. And eventually, another guy towards the end worked on it. They had roughly 2.5 to 3 people work on the original version. And when they released it, it was under his name. It was quite popular. It got released on a bunch of stuff, and it's the usual suspects when it comes to the release. Of course, it got a C64 release, which is its original computer, CPC, the Apple II and the 2GS. We got to get one of those. I'm telling you, it'll be cool. The Atari,
put it right next to the Archimedes.
Atari ST. We're going to get one of those one of these days. The NES. The NES had this. Did you ever play it?
That's where I played it. That's where
really? So you had played this before on the NES?
I think that I checked it out on an emulator once, but
you never actually played it in depth on the NES.
No.
Do you remember how it compared at all?
I think it probably played better on the NES just because you had multiple buttons.
You might be right. Of course, there was a PC version, and then there were some remakes, and we'll just touch on them briefly. They released a version of this for the CD32 called Pirates Gold. And they also released an updated version on the PC, and then a super updated version like 2000. Gosh, it was 2004, 2008. They released like a newer version that was like super updated, a little bit different, to start. But I had to look at all these, and we'll talk about that later. So, what do you do in this game? It's a simulation of a life of a guy. Basically, that lived in. You can pick when you lived. Effectively, you can in the 16th, 17th, or 18th century. Okay. The game is really open ended. When you start with your guy, you get a ship and a crew, and you can decide how you're going to live. You can work for one country and try to gain a lot of favor. You can switch countries. You can do stuff to endear yourself to one country and make
it's very open worldish.
Or you can just be a scumbag and just kill everyone you see.
That's the best way to play.
Well, I'm not sure it's the most productive way. It's set in the Caribbean. It includes the Spanish Main, Central America, the Yucatan Peninsula, all of the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, and all the Caribbean islands, plus Bermuda, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Until I read that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But you can sail around this game, and you can just go on forever until you run out of food, or you get killed. And even then, you don't really get killed.
You always just end up in prison in the end, right?
Yeah, a lot, as we'll talk about. So, you get basically at the beginning of the game, you get a letter authorizing you to be a privateer for one of these various countries, and then like I said, you can switch who you're going to work for throughout the game. So no matter what you start doing, you don't have to. It's not like you're locked in,
right?
Which is that's part of the charm of the game. So why don't you discuss the meat of the game? What are you doing?
In a way, this is sort of like a Cinemaware game.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Cinemaware should have made this game. It would have been very similar.
It would have been similar. It's based on a series of mini games that are bookended by dialogue scenes. In a way, it's sort of like Defender of the Crown on water. You're defending. When you're working for a particular country, in a way, it's sort of like that is your turf that you're defending. There's a couple mini games that are worth mentioning. There's one where you have ship-to-ship combat, and it's sort of you're playing against the other ship, but you're also playing against the wind.
The wind.
Yeah.
If you want to go the wrong way towards that wind, you're boned, sir.
Yeah. The way that the way that the game handles these vast expanses of water is pretty neat. Your ship is drawn much larger than life, against the map, but you're still, there's still several screens where there's nothing but blue, but it manages to keep both ships on the screen at the same time through various ways. In the ship-to-ship
almost
combat,
Star Control-y in a way.
Yeah. In the ship-to-ship combat, you're basically trying to cannonball your foe into submission. But you can also ram your opponent, your opposing ship, whether you want to or not. Sometimes I found myself ramming the ship when I did not mean to.
The funny thing about it is when you're in ship-to-ship combat, there's only a few ways it's going to go. The ship's going to get away, or you're going to get away. All right, number one. Number two, you're going to blow up the ship and sink it, which is no good for anybody.
Right.
Or number three, you shoot it until it can't go as fast, and then you run into it.
That's
pretty much it.
And that's the best way to go, as you hinted, because at that point the scene shifts. You mount the ship.
Mount it?
In a raging inferno. I don't know what's burning on these ships, but there's a lot of stuff burning. You don't see it on the deck once you start the sword fighting scene, and the sword fighting is based upon controller movements rather than button presses. So this is much, much better than the sword fighting that's in Defender of the Crown, where you're basically just clicking the mouse as fast as you can. In this, there are a variety of moves that you can do. I managed to win the sword fighting most of the time. I don't know how good the AI was, but anyway, the sword fighting it's pretty well animated. I mean, it doesn't look like Prince of Persia. It's not that smooth, but you can see the captains doing the moves that you tell them to do.
I was not good at sword fighting. I could win a lot, but I don't know how.
Right,
and I would get one move and then beat it to death. I'm hitting the overhand. It's
right.
like I get hot.
Yeah,
bam, bonk him. And I've heard that the swords, and I've read this a couple places where you give you the choice of weapons when you sword fight. I think it's a rapier,
an epi or something that.
But I know the one you don't want is the long sword. They said that's the weakest one.
I never chose the long sword.
Twice.
It sounded lame.
I usually get the rapier just because it's cool.
Yeah.
But the sword fighting, that was probably one of the weaker elements for me. You could have made. If they'd put a really strong sword fighting element in this, that would have been awesome. Because that's probably one of my biggest complaints with this thing so far.
I think that maybe they would have combined the controller movement with a button press and sped up the animation to make it more of a Twitch experience. It would have improved things a lot.
I will say, having looked at this on the CD32, I watched a video of it and read some stuff. Multiple buttons, and the CD32 version of this is quite a bit different graphically. Of course, you've got the AGA chipset to work with, and multiple buttons. This, I don't know how the sword fighting plays on CD32, but that's probably the way to go. It looks smoother, and the guys were better looking, and I'm assuming it probably plays better at that point.
Yeah. So at any rate, once the sword fighting is complete, and if you are victorious, you have the option of basically taking what's on the ship and sinking your opponent's ship, or you can send a crew over there and make the ship part of your fleet.
Which I screwed up so many times by splintering I would capture every ship I had,
right,
and then I would run out of crew.
Yeah, I went the other way. I sunk all the ships and took the plunder because I like to run lean and mean.
I should have done that.
Yeah,
but every time I play this, I always try to keep the ships. I don't know why.
So there's an economic element to this game where you're buying and selling goods. You can take your plunder into a port and sell it. You can buy, you want to keep enough food and vegetables and things to keep scurvy at bay. But that's basically the heart and soul of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spice that is added in to make the game, to fill the game out. For starters, you have allegiances with certain countries, and other countries hate your guts. And depending on how you play it, and you can even, some governors will ask you to do a task for them to get back in their good graces. Sometimes you'll go out and capture pirates, and that'll help. But basically, you are never on everyone's good list, which what that does to you is, among other things, that makes it so you can't go to certain ports. They'll either attack you on sight in certain ports, depending on how much they hate you, or sometimes you'll have to sneak into town. And when you sneak into town, it limits your choices. Like if you sneak into town to go see the governor, I wouldn't expect a good response. Another thing you can do is put a landing party down and go and mess with cities. This is probably one of the clunkier aspects of the game.
Yeah, I couldn't get into to me, it took me out of the experience because it was giving me too many options that I didn't know how to control at that point.
Yeah, I understand. The good thing about it is, though, I will say one thing. I can see why this game's so popular. And once I played it for about a half hour, I got it. If you were playing games back when this came out, an open-ended style world would have been, really almost completely foreign.
Sure.
It's just the amount of freedom this game gives you it's got to be one of the first games to give you this much freedom and movement and what you can do, where you can go. And it feels like you're surfing, you're going across the world, and it's big. It's a big world, and that makes it neat. You sort of can overlook the limited gameplay. You spend a lot of time on menus in this.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'd say 70 to 80% of your time is in menus.
Right.
And even the map screen where you're driving your boat around, and when you're fighting, it's not like this is not Star Control levels of combat. This is just. You've got so many cannons, and so much crew. The other ship's got so many cannons and so much crew, and you just sort of position your ship and try to catch the guy and go with the wind. There's some strategy into it, but it's not like
you don't have multiple weapons. Which ships didn't have multiple weapons back then, so it's realistic. You had the cannon, and that's it.
I liked some. There were some things that were interesting. You could go when you went to taverns. You could you could obviously pick up new crew, but occasionally a guy would be like, "Hey, I've got a hot tip for you," or "I've got a map for you," or "I've got some special news," and you pay him 100 gold and a coin, and he would say, this is a place that has a bunch of money coming there. Or if you captured some things, it would let you know about certain the location of treasure fleets or the another thing called the silver train, which would be where they were just shipping silver back to the New World or whatever, and you try to get your ship in there. I don't know what that.
Silver Train.
That's Crazy Train. Oh. There's no song called Silver Train Boat. Bad boat. The another thing you can do in this is pick up chicks, which I thought was funny.
It's also Defender of the Crownish.
Yeah. I guess the best way to explain it is at the end of the game. Another thing about this game that's unique is no matter what era you start in, your character ages, and time goes by.
Mm-hmm.
And as time goes by, this game has a unique system where things happen. The world changes, stuff you don't see, and you'll read the news. Okay, Spain's fighting England. This town just got sacked. And it will affect how much your goods are worth in certain places. It'll affect who's suddenly hostile towards you, among other things.
So
there's a lot going on. That's one of the things that's different from a CinemaWare game. Mm-hmm. Whereas where CinemaWare games are pretty straightforward, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that probably you don't think about, but it affects play. Not in the arcadey way you're playing some of the stuff in the sword fighting, but in the actual strategy way of where do I go to make the most money off my goods. Mm-hmm. You can play this game and be completely murder free if you took the notion, I guess.
Right.
But and just go around and do trading. Mm-hmm. What it reminds me of a lot is like some of the old space trading games, like your Elite.
It's kind of like Elite.
Yeah.
If you want to go the trading route, if you want to be a trucker of goods,
I would wager that the guys that originally made Elites, they probably had a good hard look at this game, or vice versa. I'm not sure which predated it. Yeah, it's pretty close. The ability to progress in the game is based solely on the amount of money you make and the amount of like when you get married, like which woman you marry matters. And at the end of the game, when you're too old to continue your career, it's retirement time, there's a big scale, and the game will rate you on how well you did on this scale. And I think the bottom level is like beggar or something, and then up the top where you're like a noble. And it gives you a little speech. Here's what you did. Here's how much money you made, and here's this and here's that. And so there's a finite. There's an end of the game, but that's the only end. I mean, like you said, One of my main problems with the game was I kept steering my boat into the shore a lot. I had a hell of a time negotiating some of the close to land areas, and I sank a lot of boats and multiple games. So I tried all the different time periods, and so my guy would spend a lot of time deserted on an island or in jail. If you try to bust through a harbor and they kick your butt and take your boat or sink it, you're going to jail. And so it shows the time click by as you sit there. And when you get out, everything you knew has changed, and you basically effectively start over. You know, and so that's an interesting aspect to the game, the time part of it. And it's funny, every so often it'll say, you know, you're still fit, you're still good to go, you're still a young man. Oh, you're feeling your aches and pains. Oh man, it's getting rough, and then you're like, man, you're nearing the end. And I've read that and I don't know, I have no way to confirm this through play. I didn't notice it, but they say as your guy ages, he becomes less effective at things. I guess sword play, for example, which is a neat element as well. What's that?
Loving.
The
game doesn't go there.
It doesn't go there. It's not like that awesome scene in The Defender of the Crown where the curtain's drawn.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting game. The controls are good everywhere to the point of the sword fighting. Again, that's my major gripe about it. And maybe with time I could get better at it, but it's just not that fun. That's an element that could have been more fun. It's funny, when I looked at this game to start off, I was kind of scared. I'm like, man, this looks like it's going to be a real... We just got finished playing Syndicate, and I mean, that's no easy task to get into that. And so here I am trying to play this, and thankfully we did this this before the interview, weren't we? We've had an extra time to play this.
Yeah, we've had... this has been on the docket for 3 weeks now.
And so... I got to play it a lot more, and that helped. And once I got into it, I realized, okay, this stuff it's not a huge thing to like an inventory and all. So I was really worried. And now, but having played it, it's fun. And I looked at some of the other versions. Like I said, the CD32 version. I thought, okay, let's see if they do anything. Which, yeah, they did a ton. It looks different. It's got a full intro with these pirates at like a tavern talking. It's all digitized sound. It's all CD quality music. You know, they play Popeye's theme a lot. I've noticed. The graphics are completely different. It looks a lot better. I'm guessing the extra buttons are in use, which would help on some of the aspects of it. I don't know how much fun it would be to wait on load times and stuff. I have no idea how long it takes. That could kind of be a bummer. But I was impressed. It looks good. So then I checked out the latest PC remake. Of course, this with the C32 version is a new. I mean, look at that. We're looking at this now, and the guy. It looks so much. It looks almost like a fighting game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The PC versions of this that are really new, and man, they're quite beautiful. Actually, it's very attractive game, and they did a good job. Now, how it plays, I don't know. I just watched a video of it. I didn't try playing the PC version, but I mean, I know when it came out a few years ago, people were very excited. And again, this is a game I didn't fully get the appeal of until I actually sat down and played it. But it's that open-endedness, man. I was always wanting that in a game. Even, and this is going to sound stupid, but you remember the Oregon Trail. That game had a certain level. For me, I don't know why, but it had this certain open-endedness that I enjoyed. It lets you pick how you wanted to proceed, and you didn't know what was going to happen. It wasn't the same thing over and over, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. And I enjoyed Pirates in a similar way. It's just the fact that you can just go out and drive around, it makes it fun. And the fact that there are certain things I don't like. Don't get me wrong, the sword fighting, fighting the wind is, and especially if you have fooled around playing on the higher levels, it's tedious to say the least. You're screwed if you try to go the wrong way. You just got to wait till the wind. Which, I mean, again, that's probably a good simulation.
Very realistic. Very realistic.
But I mean, basically it's a time suck. You just sit there and wait for it to switch. What were your overall thoughts on the thing?
Yeah, I tended to like this game more than the Cinemaware games, just because I think that a lot of Cinemaware games, Wings being probably the one exception, are a lot of flash and a mile wide and an inch deep. This really felt like it had some depth to it. It felt like a game that would reward you the more that you played it, the more you could kind of become part of the world. The open-endedness was very cool. There were a lot of things that I just didn't get, and I like that in a game. I don't want to be able to understand everything right off the first time I play it.
It is neat that there's things going on that change the entire makeup of the world from a political way.
I will note that if you're watching on this, we're watching the PC version, and apparently there is a dancing minigame in the modern version that was lacking from the Amiga original.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I never got to a point where I was married. So which was, and also another thing you have to do is like sometimes you have to go rescue your family, find your family. So there are some little missions in there as well, which kind of make it interesting. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not the best game ever played by any stretch of the imagination, but I get it. That's the thing. I get it now. It's always been a puzzle to me as to why this one had gotten so popular. But, I mean, everybody likes pirates, But, I mean, it's the open worldness of it's really what makes a game. And the funny thing is you mentioned it being like a Cinemaware game, which it is. But it's like this game's close to being really good. It's close. It's good, but it's close to being great. Mm-hmm. And there were a few things that cut it short. I think the Cinemaware's presentations are better. Their overall presentation, they've got a lot of panache that I didn't think this game had. But this game, and I'd kind of put them equal in terms of the actual mini games. They are up and down.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to Defender of the Crown was so much earlier.
I'm thinking more of the one we did last time with Rocket Ranger. Mm-hmm. I think Rocket Ranger's minigames were a little bit better than these, but it's not like they were great.
Yeah.
This one, what it had over the Cinemaware game is depth. Depth of the world. I mean, much like the Cinemaware games, there was a lot of repetitiveness. I'm stranded on an island for the 15th time. I'm in jail for the 100th time.
Yeah.
But there was enough stuff going, simulated stuff, and you could see where a company like this, who had done nothing but simulators up to this point, they took that simulator knowledge and they stuck it in the background of this. It's still there because that's what they do. It's the core of their business. And then they put this Cinemaware game over the top of it, and they came out with something that's really unique.
Yeah.
And I know the game Covert Action, which I mentioned, is another one they did. And I'm kind of have to check that one out somewhere down the line because I've heard it's similar to this, but it's more spies. Mm-hmm. And that might be kind of fun.
That sounds cool, yeah.
So
sort of like,
although it's not nearly as hell, and it's not as endearing to everyone as this was. It wasn't as popular.
What was the game that we did a couple months ago with the spy game, Top Secret Episode, or Golgo 13, or what was that? The game where you're you have like the sniping thing, and then you rescue the embassy mission.
What was that called?
It was
Hostages.
There we go.
That game was way more popular than I would have guessed. Yeah, and it was a neat game too. Mm-hmm. Boy, that was a real neat one.
Yeah.
This is not. I doubt that's anything like that.
I was going to say, I wonder if that Covert Action game is similar.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to have a look. But overall, I'll give it a thumbs up. It's a good game. I'll probably go back to it. I may go and give the CD32 game a try. And if I do, I'll do an Amigos play on that one. I'll let you know what I think about that one.
Cool. Did you have a look at eBay, see what this is selling for?
I did, actually. Let me see where I stuck it here. I could not find a copy of this. This is another one where I couldn't find a copy of it locally. Let me see here. Well, I'll have to amend that at some point because I don't know where I put the number. I know I couldn't find one in the States. Mm-hmm. And since we're sitting here, we can just look it up, can't we?
Yeah.
I looked this up about 3 weeks ago, so we'll see if the prices have changed.
So it looks like you've got a copy of Pirates Gold with the manual for the CD32. Game not mint. But for $110, that's a lot of money for a game that's not mint.
Yeah. Then again, if you're buying this, you're probably not going to play it.
Yeah,
right.
It's destined.
If you're going to pay $110, wow, and look at that.
That looks like it.
Why don't you go up and click on what's the ones that have ended, and see how it did.
So it looks like there's an Amiga copy.
No one bought that one.
Yeah, for $2.99, but with no bids.
Never pay $300 for any video game.
Yeah.
20. There's 26. So I mean, those are pretty lofty prices for an old game.
Yeah.
That's $30. So if you can catch it, or if you own it,
to be honest with you, that's not that game looks like it's in pretty good shape. $26.
It's something to hold on to, and I believe these shipped with a cloth map. I don't know if they all shipped with it, but I saw it mentioned a bunch of times. So if someone out there can confirm that, you can let us know. But I think it had a map with it originally. So it looks good. It's a good looking game. But I enjoyed it. But I think I've had enough of these deep, heady games for a while. It seems like that's all we've done here
we need
recently.
to do some lighter stuff. So before we close this thing out, I'd like to remind everybody to please check out our site. The official website of the Amigos can be found at everythingamiga.com. We've got all kinds of stuff going on there. We've got long-form reviews, the Amigos magazine, of course. All of the Amigos Plays videos, Gary Hucker and Will Williams, their repair and modding videos. I'd like everybody else to, I'd like you to also check out Amiga Tees. If you click on the link from the site over at TeePublic, we have a generous selection of Amiga-based t-shirts, including the official Amigos t-shirt. There are several to pick from, our most popular being the Amigos Staff and Supporters shirt. So check that stuff out. And finally, I'd like to thank our Patreon subscribers. Now, Aaron, I know you look forward to this every week.
That's why I had you pour me additional bourbon.
And Aaron, I know the last week you kind of gave me a hard time because you said that I practiced the song too much. So I have never practiced this before. Okay. Now I know that you're a fan of Zeppelin.
That's true.
You're a big fan of Led Zeppelin.
And so now you're going to hurt me.
So I thought we'd do a little tribute to Paige and Plant this evening and our Patreon subscribers. So here we go.
Very fancy.
Alan, Kebab David McCrandles, Gary Harker, Will Williams, Ravi Abba, Kim Tommy, Bustad, Josh Nash.
Trouble now.
Lane, Eric Nelson, Graham Whitgate, Paul Harrington, Bravo Heron. Lauren Giroux, Jonas Rollo, Torbjorn Berman, tapes from the crib. Now we're gonna switch it up. That's right, it's the Mega Mix.
Is that what that is?
Adam Bradley, Chris Folds, Daniel Bingston O'Brien's, Chad Halstead, and Brent Dowdy. Special thanks to Retro Gameplay Channel for your footage of pirates.
Beautiful, man. If I had my light, I'd have lit you up right there.
You would have lit me physically on fire.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, if you would like to be part of that glorious litany, then feel free to check us out over at patreon.com/Amigos podcast.
What are you gonna do if that list of names gets so long? You're gonna start doing. You're gonna have to start singing like Anna Vita.
American Pie.
Yeah.
I can do the whole Tales of Topographic Oceans album.
Oh my gosh.
So, Aaron, next week, and we alluded to this before, we're going to do it a little bit lighter. We're going to have our second Amigos Arcade Spectacular.
Yes. 2 games each or 3 games? What did we do last time?
3 games.
3 games. I've already got 3 picked out. I got
That's
10
great.
picked out. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready too. I can't wait to do this.
It'll be
These
a
are
lot
always-
of fun.
These
Yeah,
are always
yeah.
one of my favorite kinds of episodes. So we will see you all then. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
Adios.
All right. Another one down.
Good God.
Let's see what the chat is going on.
They're all gone now. Oh, I forgot to tell you what this thing got as their score.
Oh, yeah. It's a question. Oh. Sorry I missed your question, David. Will Aaron ever sing the Patreon members list?
Oh, man.
You got to think of it. What would you like to sing?
I don't have very high. I don't have a wide.
You do have.
I don't have a wide spectrum of singing skills.
I
Probably some kind of Leonard Cohen, or maybe
I don't
Murray Head, something like that.
There's got to be a song. Start thinking about it.
I'm not going to
I'll
sing
work
on this
it-
show. Are you
I'll
nuts?
work it up on the guitar.
Good God Almighty! That's your
We can do a little
gig.
harmony. We can do some Eagles.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a dramatic reading or something.
Oh, yeah.
Something. I'm not going to do that. I'm
Next
lying.
week,
No,
dramatic
I'm not
reading.
doing that.
Let's see. And what else is here? Sorry we missed that, David. I was trying to scan through quickly.
If we ever
but-
get 50 Patreon subscribers, I will do the song of their choice. How about
but
that?
Look at this chat.
That's good.
Yeah.
We ignored it completely. Sorry about that.
Well, we can't. It would get too crazy. I would be able to concentrate. I can barely concentrate.
I was going to say,
I'm always.
you really blew my mind in the middle of the show there. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I don't even know.
You short circuited. I don't know if you were singing a lyric or what the hell you.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't know. I was just baffled.
Oh, you mean when I started singing Crazy Train?
That's right. That's
was
the one.
awesome.
That was. It's not. You said Silver Train.
Well, that's sort of the same thing.
No. And also, my God, it sounds like somebody just hit a dog with a car.
That's kind of what Ozzy sounds like.
Jesus Louise.
So Adam says, when is the Dungeon Master reviews?
Dungeon Master. That's a game. I liked that game back in the day. I wouldn't mind doing that. Or I've been thinking about doing a Amigos playing Eye of the Beholder, but Dungeon Master wouldn't be too bad either.
Were the Gold Box games on the Amiga?
Yeah, man. There's some of that stuff is out there. There's some of the D&D stuff. I've got some of those, the originals of some of that stuff.
Thanks, Brooke. I appreciate that. And Fishbot and Daz. Everybody just thinks, whenever I start singing, it's like their world opens up.
Maybe you should do a Beatles podcast. Who was it you said did one?
Oh, Sean Courtney.
You should just sit there and just do covers. See how that does.
Yeah.
Just read the phone book.
You know, I used to do a music
You could
podcast.
be like Andy. You
back
could
in
be
the
like
old
Andy
days.
Kaufman.
I could-
Just sit
I
there
could
with a
read
guitar.
Shakespeare. That would be great. It'd be great.
You did a music podcast. What was it called?
It was called Boat of Cars Music Madness.
Really?
Yeah.
How many F's did you
I think
roll
we
out
did
of-
4 episodes.
You and who?
Me and myself.
You said we. That's the reason I
It's
asked.
the royal we.
I see. You're nuts.
Have you heard of the game Alcatraz before?
No.
Okay, Brutal Barracuda was asking when our review of that is coming up. So
Write that down.
We'll see if we can get that on the
Escape
schedule.
from Alcatraz.
What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
come to think of it, I have heard of Alcatraz. Is it a sequel to something? Or it's related to... I mean, one of the games we did, Alcatraz was part of the myth or the role of this game. What was that?
I know you.
Do you know what I'm talking
I know
about?
what you're talking about.
Was it a shooter, maybe?
Was it that Amiga version of The Rock?
No.
All right, let's jump over and play this thing.
Yeah. We'll be back.
All right.
How do you think that went? Was that all right?
It was all right. I thought it went well. You did your homework on it. It shows.
Well, I wanted to make sure people got something for their money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we going to talk about?
Like-
Bad sword fighting? Driving a boat around? I'm not going to do it.
Let's see. Many dreams come true and some have silver lining. Oh. Acapulco. Many dreams come true. Always leave you guessing. Oh. Eric, I know you love that Escape from Colditz. Let's see. Man, that vocal wore me out. I probably shouldn't have strained myself.
Well, I was wondering where you were. I thought, man, surely he's going to get this in before Robert Plant goes bananas.
Yeah,
no, he didn't make it.
Yeah. I probably should have practiced.
You didn't plan any of that, did you?
No.
Did you do Stairway to Heaven on the Fly? Or was
Yeah,
that part
that
of
was-
the gig?
no,
I
that
knew
was-
it was.
yeah.
I knew you were going to keep that up.
Well, I mean, what are you supposed to do? It goes into the guitar solo. You think Jimmy Page guitar
Well, you
licks?
get 2 extra names to say. You got a lot of names on there.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm gonna have to do some better.
we are
work
very
next time.
fortunate to have that many people
Yeah.
involved in this production. These 2 idiot Americans. Are we still shooting?
Yeah.
We're 2 brilliant Americans. They're so awesome.
I really like this. I bought this monopod thing. This camera stand thing. I put one of those 3M command
Hey, about
strips on
a buck
there.
for it.
Paid $10 for it
Oh.
on Amazon.
I had a couple of those, but they weren't that good. I'll admit.
But
That's what broke instantly. I want this chair next week. This is the chair I like right here.
why does it say we're all flying?
A winner is you.
Okay. We're having issues with the stream here.
Take it to the house, yo.
Hey Adam, I'm not sure yet. I'll probably do something. I was supposed to go out of town on Friday tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to. So
Oh, really?
I'll probably do.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Athens on Saturday. for
Athens,
the-
Georgia?
No, Athens, Ohio.
Much less cool.
My alma mater, the Singing Men of Ohio, which you may be stunned to realize I was a part of. Is
I don't
having
know which part of that name is more stunning to me. Oh, I'm just yanking your chain, bud. I know you're a man.
Okay.
I've got a million of them. Who pulled the plug, man? That's the stuff I needed on a cold day. Our room didn't have any heat.
Your room doesn't have any heat?
It was like 60 degrees all day. It's as hot as we could get with the little portable heaters we got.
Man. That's
And
no
we're a
good.
lab, yo. We got to go in there and do lab crap.
Well, don't you need heat for that?
Yeah. Guess how much lab crap I've done when we had no heat? 0. That's how much. That's why I went to the flea market today.
That's awesome.
I thought $30 was a little much on that Master System thing, but I could talk him down, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just don't know what you do with it.
Stick it in the Genesis. I don't need it.
But you've got an EverDrive that plays Master System
It
games.
wasn't for me, Goofy. You could get a Genesis for nothing and just stick this in it. A Master System is going to be a little more expensive.
Yeah, but then you're emulating. It's the same.
No, it's not. The Genesis has all the exact hardware that was in a Master System.
Yeah.
Like my Genesis doesn't have a card reader. I mean, my Master System. This thing has a card reader.
I'm not emulating the Mega Drive. It emulates fine with the Xbox.
You mean the Master System?
Yeah, Master System.
It emulates great with the Xbox.
Yeah, I played some Hang On, played some Asterix with it. It was good.
You want me to play the gun stuff though?
That's fine. We won't do any good games. What are we going to do? Bug hunt?
I've got it.
I'll plug it into this thing for the
I've got
for
it.
the
Yeah.
gun games.
If you had a CRT down here, I've got it.
I've got a CRT right there.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I've got a gun for the Xbox, but I don't know how well defined they got that gun stuff.
I don't know. It's up to Folds. You can do it, but
Damn, I'm sorry about mentioning it. I thought you guys were already on the bowl.
that's all right.
I was looking for the website this week. I couldn't find it. I was like, where the hell is that thing? I'm dying to hear this.
Yeah, I'll make a big announcement whenever it starts. Yeah, Pishbot and David, we're definitely going to do Friday Free for All. It's too much fun not to do. So
we should on some night we should try that Amiga Live and do that and stream that.
what are you doing tomorrow night?
Who knows? It'd have to be late. Like, say, 11.
Oh, man. 11.
Well, I mean, that's... I told you. Maybe I could do 10.
All right, 10's more doable.
I'll tell you what, if I can, I'll text you.
Okay,
right?
that sounds good. Yeah, if you
Can you rig that up through your system?
I don't see why not,
Okay. All right, we might give that a shot then.
Yeah. Last week we did, I did Mischief Makers. I haven't put that, I don't think I've put it. Have you ever heard of that game? The N64 game?
Mm-mm.
It's real interesting, sort of like puzzle platformer.
Where'd you play that on?
Played it on the this Project 64.
On the Xbox or on the
no,
PC?
on the PC. Yeah. But Brooke, she requested that, and it was really cool.
You ready to go on this thing?
Yeah. And by I mean no, I haven't done anything.
We're too chatty. It's our problem.
Yeah, well, this is
that's probably the reason we've got a talk show.
That's right.
Because I can't shut the hell up. And you sing, and occasionally can't shut the hell up. It's a good combination.
Let's see.
I hope I didn't talk too much. I hate when I don't want to bogart the podcast.
No, trust me. You never do that. You're always awesome.
You said that with such conviction. Trust me, you never do that. You're always awesome.
No, like if because like a lot of times I just don't I don't know what to say, but then I think of stuff while you're talking.
That seems to be the pattern we've developed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is why you could never leave. What would happen? Who would introduce the podcast, for example, and read all the news?
You'd be like, "I'm Aaron,"
and I'm Aaron.
Are you sure Brent wanted to do it? Seems like he's got some good Amiga chops.
Brent can't even do ours.
That's true.
I pitched this a month and a half ago. He's like, "This is great. I'm ready to rock and roll." And I got a message like last week. It's like, "Man, I'm sorry, I wasn't ready to rock and roll." It's like, "No kid." I'm not in a hurry. Hell,
oh, that's right, Eric. Aaron. Before we start,
that's me.
I was going to Eric, our guy over in Sweden.
A foreign land.
Yeah, foreign land. He had me playing this game called Wiz and Liz. Have you heard of that before? Mm-hmm. This is an awesome game. We've got to do it for one of the shows.
What's it on?
It's on Amiga. It's an Amiga game.
Is it worthy of having its own show? Jesus, what in God's name's going on through your wires?
I had to redo it up there, and I just didn't. I couldn't get the thing back on.
What is going on there?
It was kind of a little jerry rigged. I took some arcade wiring and just made it work.
That's scary looking. I looked up and I was like, "Oh, someone's planted a bomb." Waiting to hear Alu Akbar.
It's colorful. It's colorful.
Yeah. You ready to go now?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Hey, Gary. How's it going? Okay. Pirates.
I was going to wear my pirate kerchief and eye patch, and I forgot to bring them.
It's a blown opportunity. I still can't believe we blew freaking Budokan with all my stuff and all your stuff.
Next karate
all
game
your throwing stars.
Recording?
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
What up, yo?
Welcome to our stream. I think our mic is a little bit hot, chat, before we start this thing.
That's just me. I'm sorry.
Man, it's great sound and audio.
It's that
synth harpsichord sound that you've been waiting for. Is our mic distorting, chat? We got 13 people watching now.
That's stunning. I'm sorry for you.
Okay, cool. Thanks, David. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start the live stream now.
I thought we just started already.
Well, I cut it off. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our stream of Pirates. Welcome to Pirates.
This is not a tutorial.
So,
how to pirate games.
Aaron, I am going to hand the controls over to you because you are the resident pirate master.
Correct, sir.
And
I've got my copy of X. I've got X copy here with me. I've got my Nibbler copier.
Your Action Max replay.
We don't have that. We didn't have that crap on the Amiga, man.
That's true. No Action Max.
We were doing it old school. We had all the copying programs and the big, huge bucket of blank discs that I would get from a catalog.
Where did you get your blank discs from?
It was from an outfit that has initials for names. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say MCI, but I know that's not it. But it's just this little micro something. But it was a place that just sold discs by the truckload. I'd get them in stacks of 50 or 100 blanks. You know, and Then you had to format them. Because I never wanted to pay the extra money to get them formatted. Like you could get it done with the Amiga anyway. Fire me up here.
What do you need me to do? I thought that you had control.
Nope.
All right, go.
Nope. This is like my real career. It's like, no. Oh, by the way, you just did something there.
All right. No thanks. English. Incognito. That's an
a good
awesome
name.
All right.
It should be Incogamigo.
That's true. Look at you. That's a dead ringer.
I know. If I shave my beard and drop my glasses and grow hair and lose a bunch of weight and get a cool shirt.
Your shoulders appear to be about 4 feet wide. Also.
Well, you know, I do a lot of shoulder work in the gym. Okay, I'm in.
All right. This is another game that could have used some background music during this part too. Some swashbuckling sea shanties.
Like I said, the CD32 version, this had a bunch of the Popeye.
Oh yeah, that's great.
See, this right here, to say this is awkward, I mean...
It's not false to say that.
We win. Here's the flavor text.
Look at that guy. What do you think his stories are?
Never ram your head repeatedly into a brick wall. I always tell Luke, don't use your head. Use your head for something besides that. It's not a blunt instrument. So, let's go get us a crew.
He looks like a strapping young lad. Whoa, those guys look like no good.
Sign them up. That's the kind of pirate we want.
That's true.
Let's see. England's at war with Spain. Someone's always at war with something. Let's go visit the governor.
He's got some shiny jewels.
And the Dutch.
Have you ever thought about wallpaper for your house?
No, absolutely not. Because I've taken wallpaper down, and it's the worst. It is the worst.
Now, what's your strategy with the goods here?
Well, I'd like to say it's a foolproof strategy, but it's not. It's a garbage strategy. I just basically fill my ship up with a lot of food because I tend to get lost. And then the rest of it I fill up with some goods, and then we rock and roll.
I never found out what the goods were for.
You trade them.
Just trading?
Yeah.
Okay. You only got room for 1 ton of sugar. 1 ton of sugar is a lot of tons. I mean, that's
right.
That's a lot of amount.
I think the more goods you have, it slows your shit down. But there's a lot of this stuff. Now, here we go. Right there is how you can easily hit. I'm seriously, that's how I usually do it. Let's investigate.
Merchantmen.
Let's see, we're English. Well, we can't do them.
Have you ever built a ship in a bottle?
You mean real life?
Yeah.
No. Who do I look like?
I don't know. Maybe just in your free time.
Uh-oh, the French.
That's the old...
I'm sorry for our French listeners, but they have to go down.
The fleur-de-lis. That's a word I know in French.
Whoops,
Ooh, man, you almost got him, though.
Ow!
Oh, man! Aaron.
I may have jumped on the wrong fleet here. Eat this, sir.
Yeah, that was a good shot right there.
Have a spicy hot bottle of this.
I don't know why they put the crosshairs in front of your ship.
Yeah, I know. Oh, these guys are making a run for it.
Yeah, they want no part of you.
And they're going to be hard to catch, too.
You might get skip up. Sail away.
Come sail away.
You got some long range.
Yeah, sometimes you can get lucky, but man, I hit these guys too, and they're all right. You guys can go ahead and scoot. That's the thing. Once they get too far ahead, you're boned.
If you had to choose between Styx, Kansas, and REO Speedwagon, who would you choose?
Man, that's a tough choice. It wouldn't be Styx, I'd say.
Okay, so they're out of it.
Probably, gosh. I don't know, actually, it'd either be Styx or REO. I would probably, now that I think about it, going into their back catalog, it would probably be Styx. I hate to say it. I changed my mind. Uh-oh. This is what happens when you go where you're not welcome.
Yeah. Sneak in.
Well, you can't, there's no point. You can't trade your goods there, so.
There's no black market.
Let's try our luck here. Normally I'd be getting a map up and seeing where I'm at, but since we're just going nuts. We're in Guadalupe. They're down with the clown. You stupid fort.
They might be... No, they're French.
Let's visit this. Trade with the merchant. Sometimes they'll trade with you. Oh, he's going to trade with us. Beautiful. So we're going to sell our goods here. don't know how much money we made.
I was going to say, do you know if you bought your goods for less than 40?
In retrospect, we probably should have paid more attention to it because this is a demonstration. For demonstration purposes.
It's a learning game.
I always like to visit the governor in these towns. No, screw you, governor. I like the fact that we snuck into town, but the governor had dinner with me.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to do it. So heck, let's go up to Florida, or as we say around here, Florida.
How did you say it the first time?
Florida.
It sounds the same to me. That's a. All right,
No.
that's you. That's you guys, right?
Yeah. Hail for news.
So we're at war with Spain. Don't go to Leo gain.
You ever had malaria?
Never.
Good move.
I try to avoid it.
In some ways, this reminds me of playing the tennis game. In some ways.
Except you got somebody to talk to now, so avail me with your. What Caribbean countries have you visited?
None. I've never been to the Caribbean. I've been to Mexico, but not the Caribbean, I'm afraid.
We went to the Bahamas maybe it was 2 years ago now. It's a while back.
Dutch.
It doesn't say Dutch.
It doesn't?
If it doesn't say Dutch, you've paid too much.
Oh, yeah?
You know, he comes to the Thai restaurant a lot. The Dutch Miller guy on TV.
Oh, man.
The Dutch don't mess around. They look like I thought the German flag was red, black, and white. Well, that's a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Hey, like them apples, Dutch. I think we can catch this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's hurting for certain.
Yep. Oh. Wow.
So he curved into it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Put on the brakes just in time.
Oh, that screen swatched on. All right, we're going to take this guy. He's not going as fast as we are. Well, actually, it's exactly as fast.
Just, it's a game of inches.
Swing and a miss. Wow. That's the hard part about this which I guess, of course, much like in a real battle, it's not like a jet or something where you can.
Right. It's just
you sort of have to turn away from the.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Aaron. I think this one's lost.
I can't imagine. It takes a lot of shots to actually hurt these guys. Mm-hmm. That's the annoying thing about it sometimes.
He even says no damage.
Yeah,
right
yeah. It'll tell you. I mean, you can blow their sails down. I'm sure you've done it. Whoa. It's like I jumped like Mario in the next screen. I mean, I hit these reefs and stuff. I don't remember where it was at. I think it was off the coast of Spain, and was just hitting stuff left and right. It was like not Spain, but down in the lower Caribbean.
If you just start sailing, I mean, could you sail all the way to Europe?
There's a map and stuff in there. You can. Are you read all the places you could go? It was
yeah, but I just wondered if your
well, your food will run out too.
That's true.
Eventually. You can really move fast when you get the wind at your back.
The wind at your back.
We're at the open sea here. We haven't seen the ship for a while yet, so we're probably
drifting away.
There are eventually you will hit you can go far enough to where there are invisible walls.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, you can't go.
If you play in the Caribbean, you can't sail to Europe.
You can't go to like Antarctica or something, for example.
How much food do you got?
I don't know.
Is there a key I can hit?
There is, but why bother? This is more fun. We'll just see where we're going to go.
Okay.
I like to go this far and make it an abrupt right turn. Or is that starboard or port boat?
My ship terminology is weak. I thought about starting Moby Dick, but I haven't yet.
Can you imagine signing on to be my crew?
No, I cannot imagine that.
What would you be thinking about that point?
Well,
like right now.
Like if you were wearing a Ric Flair shirt and you're like, come join my crew, then I'd probably join up.
You know, it worked yesterday. They had a picture of
Ric Flair?
Yeah. The Kentucky State Police were, look, I hit the invisible wall.
Yeah.
The Kentucky State Police had this auction coming up, and Ric Flair was posing with a bunch of troopers. I guess he's on board. That's quite pleased.
Yeah.
I had to explain to my buddy why Ric Flair is supporting the police. I'm like, hey, everyone likes Rick.
How much does he charge for an autograph, you think,
man,
these days?
I'd say you're probably in the... It depends on where you go, but he's probably getting upwards of $50 and plus. That's nothing. Shatner you'll be in for $100.
Man.
we're going to here we go. We're going to Scarefest, and amongst the luminaries appearing are going to be Joel from MST and Brad from Rocky Horror. But also Freddy Krueger is going to be there, and I'm sure he will charge a hefty fee. I'm going to fight these people, whoever they are.
Yeah, not worth. Who
Oh, I'm
cares?
sorry, I'm turning on England.
Yep. Closed for battle. When you least expect it. Bam. Oh.
How?
Oh.
Are you kidding me? This is what I get for turning on England right here.
Now, will they take this news to their...
Well, yeah.
But not if you sync them.
This will. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure how that algorithm or whatever works.
Yeah. Ooh, that was close.
I think I can catch these suckers.
Yeah, just ram them.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
All right.
Blazing in
I
front of
first produced my pistol.
You know, it's your ship that's on fire back there. Like, you're coming on the airship.
All right, Captain.
So long to the captain. Think about how many famous captains there are in the world of food. Captain Crunch. Oh, wait, I was thinking about Colonel Sanders.
Captain
He's not a
Tennille.
captain. Muskrat Love. Are there any other
This is my move. You see the old 3 blank special, and you're done. All right. Plunder and sinker. I'm going to follow your advice.
That's the best.
Man, look how much food I had left. I needed that.
Yeah. You definitely don't need to be spreading your crew any thinner than they already are.
Look at these cannons. Man, I'm jacked.
Yep.
Let's get out of here. What island was that?
Antigua?
Was that what it was?
No. Bermuda.
Okay. Let's see if we can get in here. Yes. That's cool. Blow up the
Yeah, the governor's not heard the news.
Blow up the ship off the coast and just drive in. All right. Let's see if we can make a few bucks here.
Looks like it's amazing how all these merchants look alike no matter where you go.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Wilford Brimley's jeans are all over the place.
He did sow his wild oats early in his career.
Well, he never gets any older. He never dies.
It's true. Diabetes.
Let's see what the governor's on.
Think about if you had that wallpaper in your house. That's what made me think about that. That would be
Well,
awesome.
if I had that, that'd be, yeah, of course. That'd be great. But, I mean, good group can afford that. It's the good stuff.
You've got that nice fire. You got that fireplace in there now. Like that would look great.
You know, I like paneling. I'm the only person on earth. I always like paneling.
I love paneling. I'd love to put some in my study upstairs.
Oh yes, wouldn't that be nice?
Wainscoting.
You know, I'm a big fan of the old Sherlock Holmes, and I always like Sherlock's. I like
Paneled library.
It's the Brett Sherlock's the one I like, as you know.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have his man, these guys are usually armed to the teeth, but this would be a good way to go down.
Yep. If we're going to go down to pirates.
Come on, pirates.
You got 8 guns. You can do this. Oh, wait a minute. You got 12 guns. You've outgunned them. They're running from you. Oh, that should have hit. The hitboxes in this game are
That's
messed
not
up.
me. That's him.
What? Man, he's got range. Look at that. He can anticipate your every move.
Just a bit outside.
It's a Scott Norwood situation.
Oh! Have a little some of that.
Look at that.
Oh! That was a long bomb, too.
Yeah. Hit him with another broadside. Oh.
I'm going to do this just like they did at Trafalgar.
What Greek restaurants have you been to in the area?
Not many.
Have you been to King Kebab over in South Charleston?
No.
I don't recommend it. Heap and I went yesterday.
Wow. What did King Kebab do? He's the king.
Yeah, I thought he would be the king, but he's not. There's another Greek restaurant nearby the mound that's much better. Grano's.
There it is. Get in there. Oh, man. These pirates are wimps, man.
Yeah, they're running from you.
That one's got a chance. Oh,
No.
I think I can catch these suckers.
Yeah. Man, it'd be great if you could do battle with what's a famous pirate? Long John
Blackbeard.
Silver. I think it's funny how there's a Bluebeard too.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let's go with the cutlass.
Yeah. You don't want the long sword. It's no good. Major fielding.
You saying that because I said that on the show?
Yeah. No, I've never liked the long
It's
sword.
my move.
When I'm choosing my weapon for a duel, I never choose long
You
sword.
are a swordsman.
I am a
Have
swordsman.
you used any of these weapons?
No. Never. I
They
did have
got more men than us. Oh. This is just like a beat down.
Yeah. Man. This is a close battle.
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that.
Yeah. What do you
Very
think of that,
good.
sir?
Very good.
No plundered. Oh, you know what?
Hold him for ransom. Yeah.
Look at all that food we got, boat.
Mm-hmm.
These guys didn't have jack.
Nope. They're pirates. They lean
Man, we're
mean.
gonna just dump a crap load of food. We're out of space.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't shuffle your inventory around.
Well, you can, sort of. I mean,
Yeah, but you
I do
can't.
have a crap load of cannons, for example. I probably don't need all those cannons.
Yeah, I think 33 tons, that's fine. Take them.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I wonder what the max crew you could have on a ship is.
I don't know.
I wonder what the sleeping arrangements are like on a boat like this.
Stack them like quarter money
Yeah.
to get hold.
Yeah,
They don't care. They're drunk.
that's true.
I remember reading in the British Navy, it was getting booze was your right. It was a right of every soldier. Seriously,
That's great.
they had to get boozed up. That helps.
Yeah.
You know, fortify your courage.
What else can you do to
lubricate the old body?
Yeah.
They should institute that in all armies. It may still be like that. I'm not even sure. I know it was like that for a long time. Okay, I'm going to do one more boat.
Okay.
Get it?
No.
Because you're a boat. I'm going to do one more boat.
Oh, okay.
Here's the, let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Our wealth it's not great.
It's not
How are the
bad.
men doing?
Crew's pleased.
All right, that's not bad. See what you got going here, and then you.
Go to Villa Hermosa.
Where's that? I don't see.
Last
that.
one.
Oh,
They're surviving.
yeah. The heck? All right, let me boot up here to continue, and we'll keep it going. You know, Antigua in the West Indies. What famous wrestlers from there?
Oh, that's the butcher, Abdullah.
No, he was the wild man from the Sudan,
Oh.
or from a Sudan, from Antigua in the West Indies. SD Special Delivery Jones.
Oh, Junkyard Dog.
No,
Was his name actually Special Delivery Jones?
that's what they called him in wrestling.
I mean, that was his. Interesting. When did
But
he
was.
wrestle?
That's the only time I've ever heard from anyone from Antigua in the West Indies. It was SD Special Delivery Jones.
What was his gimmick?
He was a job guy. But he would occasionally team with like Andre. He was a good guy. But
Man, I can't wait till Mania.
Are you really? Do you know any of the matches?
No.
Okay.
But I
Why
just
are you
like
excited?
Because I like coming over and
It
hanging
seems
out.
like every time we see that, though, you get bored.
Because it's like 4 hours long.
Man, this land stinks. Where's the good stuff at, y'all?
The first couple hours of WrestleMania hold
It's
my
a
attention.
4-hour show, you know.
Yeah. But I think that I just haven't gotten boozed up enough for
It's
the
like a little
last
swampy
2
out
hours.
here. How much booze think we're going to drink at my house? I got a kid over there.
That's true. Probably not too much.
Yep. It's a lot of empty land in the old world.
Mm-hmm. That's the new world.
Well, not to us, it's not.
Sail ho.
Let's continue the voyage. Here's the city. St. Augustine.
So that's on like the southernmost tip of Florida. So you're still really far south.
It just keeps going like this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the game. As long as let's get rid of some of this food. We don't need that much. Jeez. Now let's attack the town.
It would be cool if this was a mini game.
Do a U-turn. Just to go up ahead of steam. Attack the town. Swing and a miss. Whoops.
Almost.
That was a warning shot. Oh no! Oh!
Man, you got lucky there.
Oh, no, that was skill. That was called superior boating technique.
It's a good shot on the town. Can you destroy the town, or can you only hit the castle?
You can hurt it. Well, I mean, there it
There
is.
it is. Boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Did you see that maneuver?
That was good. That was good. A little razzle-dazzle.
I'll blow up this whole freaking town. No one does nothing to me and gets away with it.
Man, you're dodging these things right and left. What do you think about the Pina Colada song? I always think about that when I'm in the Caribbean.
It's a good tune.
I like it.
I don't have a problem with that. And I'm jacking up his fort. There's a little something for the town. There's a little something for y'all.
The town's still registering no damage.
It takes a while. That's dead on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting.
See, what would be awesome is you could send, longboats in that would attack the town on foot while you're doing this. Reload. Oh.
I'm going to sink this sucker before I'll give up.
Too bad you can't ram the castle with your shit.
That would be strange.
It's right up on the land. You ever been on one of those duck tours?
Duck tour?
It's the same sort of concept. Like in a big city, like there's some in Boston, where there's a bus that can go in the water. So like halfway through the tour, you just go right into the lake.
Oh, we tried to take one of those in Cincinnati, but it wasn't open that day.
I can imagine the same sort of thing applied in the pirate world. Man, they just can't hit the broadside of a barn.
You can see where there's a lot of room for improvement in the
Yeah.
action aspects of this.
Yeah.
But again, given the time frame it came out,
This came out in 90?
it was an old one, and it came out earlier than that. It was the Amiga port was then, but it was yes. Look how slow my boat's going.
1 knot.
It's going Don knots. I've got sail damage. They've only got 10 men left at this fort, though. I've killed a bunch of them.
Let's keep circling around the 0.
Oh, don't hit the land.
There we go. Oh. It's a shame you can't.
That's okay, I don't need that.
32 men.
No,
One's
I've
so
got-
slow.
I've got 9. I've got 32. He's got 9.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was looking at the wrong one.
The good thing is, I think I can outlast him here if the ship doesn't sink. I'm not moving.
Yeah. There we go.
How can you be nailing this guy like this? How did he miss?
The ship appears to be standing still.
This is the most exciting Amigos we've ever done. I've got 5 guns left. That didn't help. I had 12 guns, didn't I?
Yeah, you started out with 12. But they're down to 7.
This is a war of attrition. Lost the mast. Don't need that.
No. Once you take this town, you can raid it, get anything you want.
No. This is it. This is the last stand of the Amigos ship.
Now you're going -1 knots. You're going backwards.
Yeah, I guess
Is
that's the way
possible?
that's the way the water's moving.
I've never seen that.
It's amazing to me that we are not actually hurting this guy. This is ridiculous, man. Oh!
Incognito sloop. I still love that. Whatever happened to old Richie Incognito?
I don't know.
I think he played for the Dolphins.
I think He's still in the league.
Yeah. He was involved in all that bullying stuff.
Well, he was not a nice man. My ship's getting... My crew's got to be wondering if this is a good idea at this point.
Why don't we just go back out on the ocean?
Okay, I'm down to 6 men. How are 6 men firing 7 guns? What black magic is that? I'm going to turn this thing completely around.
You can fire cannons out of both sides, right?
Yeah. I'm still okay from
6
that
guns.
side. And turn it back around. Come on, baby! Oh! What do you mean he refused to march?
So what does that mean exactly?
Oh my god.
So-
That's it. I'm putting this thing on the land.
Yeah.
We're docking this sucker right here. Another boring aspect of this, the end.
I love those guys though. That's right out of the 2600.
This looks like they took the 2600 football game and they moved them over here.
Right. All the guys move in perfect formation as they march across the
They're not
the great
speedy.
expanse.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's put these guys over here and call it a night.
All right. Guys, thanks for checking out Pirates with us. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Adios. Let's see who's still in the stream.
I've got to go. You want you to take this boat.
All right.
It's already later than I would have anticipated.
So, guys, thanks for
Bye, guys.
hanging with us. We will. We'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow night for the Friday night free for all. We'll have a good time.
for all. That should be your theme.
Yeah. See you later, guys.